Hello, and welcome back to our programming series. Today, we are going to dive into a powerful tool in the world of programming called the for loop. The for loop is a fundamental concept in programming and is widely used across various programming languages, including C. In today's tutorial, we will learn the syntax to use for loops, how for loops work in C, and infinite loops and how to solve them. Let's get started. Before we dive into the code, let's take a moment to understand what a for loop is and how it works. A for loop is a control flow statement that allows us to execute a block of code repeatedly. The basic syntax of a for loop in C programming is as follows. The for loop has three parts: initialization, condition, and update statement. The initialization is executed only once at the beginning of the loop, while the condition is evaluated at the beginning of each iteration. If the condition is true, the block of code inside the loop is executed. After each iteration, the update statement is executed and the loop continues until the condition is false. Now that you understand what a for loop is, let's dive into the code to demonstrate the for loop. In this example, we are initializing the variable I to 1. We are setting the condition to I is equal to or less than 10. And we are incrementing the I by 1 in each iteration. Inside the loop, we are simply printing the value of I using the printf statement. So, if we compile and run our code, this is the output we are going to get. So this is the output we are getting. Our for loop has executed and it has run through by incrementing after each iteration. So we have 1 through to 10. This is the output of the code. Let us take another example to see how we can use the for loop to iterate over an array of elements. So, what this loop does is that it iterates over the elements of the array and prints them out. So if we run our code now, we pull this up and then clear this to run. You see that it is going to iterate over the elements we have and print them out. Remember, we are initializing I to 0 and then saying that I is less than the size of our array. And this our array contains 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 elements, meaning we have 5 elements in this array. So we are asking our for loop to print an array less than the size. So I++, we are going to get 1, 2, 3, and 4, which is less than the number of elements in the array. Now, let us turn our attention to infinite loops. An infinite loop occurs when your loop doesn't stop and keeps running. In the for loop construct, if you don't specify the test condition, it is assumed to be true by default. And as a result, your condition never evaluates to false. And the loop will continue to run until you force stop the program. Let's look at this example. So what we have done now is write a very short and simple program to test an infinite loop. So if you observe, we have not specified any test condition here. And if I hover over it, you see that my program is already telling me it is an endless loop. And that is what it has here, endless loop. So let's run it and see what we are going to get. So I'm going to have to pull this a little long so that we can actually see what is happening with our program. You see? So our program is printing and printing. It is never going to stop. So the only way to get out of an infinite loop is to force stop the program. And that is what I can do here. And you see, my program has executed. And if you look at the message here, it is saying interrupted by signal 15, sig term. So I have forced stop the program from running because I didn't provide a test condition. So if I provide a test condition here, I am going to get the program running smoothly. So with this, I can just run. And you see that it has run nicely from 0 to 9 because my test condition says that I is less than 10. So that is how you get rid of an infinite loop in programming and in C programming as well. So if we look at this flowchart, initialize is where we set our initial value of our for loop variable. Check condition here is a Boolean expression that is evaluated at the beginning of each iteration. And so, if the condition is true, then we execute the loop body and the loop continues. The update counter is executed at the end of each iteration. And after that, the loop goes back to check the condition. If it is true, it executes the loop body again and updates the counter again. This goes on until the loop condition is false. Then we exit the loop. That is here. That is it. I hope you found this tutorial helpful because we have learned the syntax of for loops in C and how they work, we have also learned how to anticipate the possibility of infinite for loops and how to avoid them. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more programming tutorials like this. Happy coding, and see you in the next one.